my podcast, Small Beginnings with Sarah. And today I just wanted to talk about friendships. Y'all, friendships are such an important part. And in my life right now, I am so thankful for my friends sharing in the joy of what's happening in my life in the next few months. But my dear friend Mary Lou is visiting her friend Sherri in Florida. And I said, you know what? Let's get on and do a podcast today. And my podcasts are raw and authentic, and they're about small beginnings. And Mary Lou and I have been friends since 1977. So we're going on 47 years of being a friend. And Sherri and Mary Lou have just become friends in less than a year. So I wanted us to just dig in to say what makes our friendships work. What we have friends that we're not friends with anymore. So maybe they're not friends anymore. What has been killer? What's been the killer thing to friendships? And just so we can glean from each other, because y'all, I believe today is a day that we need friends more than ever for the days ahead. So I just invited I've never met Sherri in person, but she is my friend because she's Mary Lou's friend. And we're just going to just chit chat and talk about friendship. So, Mary Lou, you want to just start, and welcome to
Sure,
both of y'all on
sure,
this raw and authentic podcast with me today.
sure. Well, I think it started for me when I moved to Louisville, Kentucky from the Maryland area about 10 years ago. And, when you move, you don't have many friends.
Hmm. Hmm.
I made friends with my daughters, like the mothers in school and stuff like that. Or I used to make friends at work a lot, but I had been praying to God for a long time about finding a true friend in
Hmm.
Louisville, someone
Hmm.
that I could trust and someone that He would bring to me that had my faith
Hmm.
and that was kind and just had the characteristics that I have. And I, met Sherri. It was so weird how we met. I was sitting on the couch and watching TV, and we have what would you call it?
Arts and crafts.
Yeah, like an arts and crafts kind of room in our subdivision. And it was right before the
Derby.
Derby, yeah, Kentucky Derby. And I was wanting,
And
yes,
I had only been in our neighborhood 3 days.
three
Oh
days.
my goodness,
But my
3
husband signed me
days.
up for this little thing because he said it would be so fun. Continue.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So anyway, I'm sitting there, and it popped up on my Facebook page that, hey, we have more room, and if you want to create a silk, which is like a shirt with a number with your
Right.
design, and it's a door hanger that a lot of people hang on their doors, around the Derby, come on to the clubhouse. So I decided, I'm not even, I don't think I just hurried up, brushed my hair, got my jeans on, and the clubhouse is about probably about just around the block from my house. So I walk in, and then I'll let Sherri tell her story, how she got there.
And my husband had so generously figured out where I was supposed to go and who was putting on this soiree. And so
Hmm.
I said, give me the directions, I'll go. I kind of have to because I didn't really want to go, but
Right.
he wanted me to go.
Yeah.
So I went and I drove because I didn't know where I was going. I drove for about a half hour. And I was, mind you, just around the corner as well. So I get lost. I go to where I think I'm supposed to go. So I arrive a half hour late. And I really wasn't going to walk in, but something prompted my heart, just
Hmm.
go.
Hmm.
Just go.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So I did. And everybody was already coupled up at their tables. They were, friends of friends, and they were all, doing their thing. And then
Hmm.
Mary Lou came in. So they put us at a table together because we were the leftovers. Yeah, we hadn't been paired up with anybody, and that was our cute meet. That was
Yeah.
really, truly.
And we started talking,
Mhm.
and we found out that her mom was from Pennsylvania. And oh, what a, it was like a true connection there,
Hmm.
because she'd
Hmm.
been to Pennsylvania.
Many, many times.
Yes. And
Yeah.
so we started talking about that. And yeah, the whole time we were making silk shirts, we were talking. And then Sherri said to me, hey, you got to come over to my house. We just moved here 3 days ago, and so I did.
Yes.
I went to her house
Yeah.
the following day.
Yeah.
And her husband is interested in horses, so he does a lot of horse racing. So we were watching the horse races.
We own horses, so the things that we made, the silks are what the jockeys wear.
Okay.
It's your colors, it's your coat of arms, kind of, so they know what jockey goes with which owner and such. So yeah.
And then
So amazing.
yeah, and
A
then
place where both of you really didn't want to go, and then you did end up. And now what month was this? This was in 2023. What month?
April.
So you have not even been friends a year, but y'all are so close and you're so generous to each other. I've seen, Sherri, the gift you gave Mary Lou for Christmas, which is like fresh flowers every month. So she showed me her January flowers.
Yeah.
And now y'all are vacationing together, spending 10 days together, just chilling and Netflixing and whatever, shopping and just relaxing and enjoying each other, like taking time out to be friends.
And even I love her family. Like I feel like I've known her family and my family. How's Mary Lou? My mom, she's just had her 100th birthday and she's like, how's Mary Lou? Like she knows her, Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. So good. So
Can
good.
I share, a
please
scripture
please do.
Okay,
Please do.
Samuel 16:17, and I think so often we get so busy and we're looking for what we desire, and we're not really looking for what God's placed on our heart or the people that He's placed before us, because there is no accident, there is no coincidence.
Yeah.
Not where God is concerned. And so Samuel 16:7 says that man looks on the outward appearance, but the Lord looks on the heart. So a lot of times what we're thinking we need or that I desire, we miss the truly important piece, and that's
Wow.
looking at each other's hearts.
Wow.
Mhm.
Wow. And y'all sort of talked about that you both felt a little bit like outsiders walking in late to that thing. And you
Totally.
mentioned something to me earlier this morning about what did Jesus normally do?
Yeah. I mean, he walked in and almost always was, the outcast or
Yeah.
So
Wow. So what do you think? I mean, if you were to pull a few characteristics, like certainly this was divine. God set y'all up. Absolutely, we recognize that. But you also had to have some intentionality, both of you did, to keep this friendship going. And it is an eternal friendship. Like I know y'all are going to be friends in heaven. Like it's going to be all the way through. And the thing is, Mary Lou's about my age, so you don't have to tell your ages, but mid-60s. And you just got new friends, like eternal friends just happened. So sometimes people think I'm too old to make friends. Like I don't know how to make friends. So what would y'all say? Like, why has your friendship been working so beautifully?
I think, I don't know, we communicate really well. Sometimes I have friends and that I have loved for years and years and years, but sometimes I walk on eggshells because I'm like, oh, I just can't make it today, but I'm afraid to reach out and say, you know what, something came up. I have to go with my grandbabies.
Right.
I know we've had this planned. And then I feel really anxious and upset. And one thing about Mary Lou and I, which you obviously know about her, is if we can't do it or something else, or if we just straight up don't want to, that's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay to not always have to do what you have planned, because plans change and we have to be flexible. And I think sometimes people are very inflexible.
Yeah.
That
So
makes
your
it
honest communication.
We are.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think too, Sarah, it is also, and I've told you this too, you don't have to always be doing something. It's just being with that other person. I mean, and just talking and feeling a sense of peace and trust, and that you know that you could talk to them about anything and they won't judge. They accept and love you as you are, no matter what.
Yeah.
And
gee, who does that sound like?
Yeah.
Relational, friendship, love, unconditionally.
Yeah.
And sometimes people don't feel comfortable with that, but unless you try, you don't know.
That's right. That's right. So you have to step in trust.
Yes.
Like you do have to step in trust until you know. And trust is built on consistency and time.
Correct.
And so when something becomes inconsistent, then you have to work extra hard to rebuild, but I think y'all have, it's just so exciting. And I really think the listeners are going to be encouraged to say, God, where is my new friend? I need a new friend. I just moved, because Sherri, you had been in Louisville 3 days.
Yeah. And I know, I'm pretty sure you probably do this, but I journal a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And, it says in the Bible to write down the desires of your heart, put them plainly on a tablet.
Mm-hmm.
So Mary Lou had been praying for me. I was just scared to death I wasn't going to meet anybody. And I was like, I don't know why I'm here. I'm here because David's here and everything else. But I was there very specifically.
Yes.
Yeah. And I think you just got to open yourself up to what if?
Yes.
Smile at somebody in the grocery store, somebody at church,
Yeah.
see them. You just,
Yeah.
like you said, be more intentional.
Yes.
Yeah.
And sometimes you have to make the effort.
Yeah.
If you go to church, you see, someone by themselves all the time that come in and out. Go up and ask them, hey, you want to grab a cup of coffee or you want to grab lunch? Sarah, you're the master of that. Oh my goodness. You have so many friends.
Yeah.
And just by
it's part of the legacy from my mother. Mary Lou, you knew my mother. So let's talk about what you remember from my mother. I'm remembering her a lot these days because for my upcoming wedding, I'm getting remarried here in 42 days, I think, and I'm making her cream cheese pound cake. And Mary Lou remembers I'm making all the cakes for my wedding. It's a small wedding, so I'm not having to make so many. But I decided, you know what? I want to make the cakes for my wedding. And Mary Lou remembers my mother's cream cheese pound cake. But so part of the legacy, but also my mother had this gift of friendship. She was extremely relational. And I thank God for how that I value that and continue to release it from God, like He is relational. But you want to talk a little bit about that, Mary Lou, and how we met in California in 1977. Me, a country girl, had never lived in the city. Yes.
Well,
I didn't even know how to say the word ruin. I said ruin. I thought it was ruin. I didn't know until my 30s. Mary Lou didn't even teach me that when I was 19 when I met her. But I thought it was ruined. You ruined something and it's ruin. I'm like, what? That's ruined.
That was another thing we laughed about is I said something about Yun's guys.
Oh.
And then she's like, oh.
Yeah. Is that Pennsylvania?
Pennsylvania, and that's how we figured out our lineage. Yes. Yun's guys.
Pennsylvania. Yeah. That
Well,
background.
Sarah and I met, we went to college together. However, we didn't live in the same dorm. We were in the next door dorms. You were in Mayfair, weren't you, Sarah?
Yes.
So we both worked at the Postal Center, and the Postal Center was kind of I would say, not factory setting, but it was like, there's a lot of machinery and everything.
Boring.
Yes. And we would, sort the mail and then stamp it and then wrap it. And that's how we met. Sarah had gotten a job there and I was working there. And we became really good friends. And then we, I don't know, I really think it's a heart connection. That you connect to someone's heart. And you could tell probably within the first several times of meeting them if it's a heart connection. And it's the kind of connection that you feel like you've known them forever, even though you have. But it's
That's
just
so good.
that comforting feeling. And I had it with you. And then remember we went skiing together. And then we, had I moved to Texas for a little while with
Mhm.
Sarah, and we were roommates. And then we kind of lost the connection for a long
Mhm.
time. I came to your first wedding.
Yes.
You got married, and then we lost the connection for what? How many years,
Probably
Sarah?
20 years. Probably
Yeah.
more than 20 years. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
And but you did come out with Wayman and your sons to
Right.
visit.
To DC.
Yeah.
Yes. Mhm.
So that was probably
2001.
yes, yes.
Mhm.
And then we were always friends, but it's one of those things that you may not talk to friends for a long time, but you can pick up the phone and it's almost like you talked to them yesterday
Yeah. Yeah.
and catch up.
Mhm.
There is like no time separated. You still can pick up the conversation and yeah, and then what ended up happening is Sarah's husband got sick, and we were calling each other and texting each other, and we were praying. I was praying for her husband, and we thought that God was going to heal him. We were confident of that, and then when it didn't happen, it was shocking
Mhm.
to say the least.
Mhm.
And my heart broke for Sarah because I know how much her and Wayman loved each other. And so that's really how we got reconnected again. I came down to see her. I went on on one of her retreats. And then I remember her and I talking, and she's saying, Mary Lou, what am I going to do? We used to watch 60, not 60 minutes, but Fox News like every night at 9 o'clock. And I said, well, Sarah, I'm going to call you at 9 o'clock every night so you don't feel that you're alone. And we did that. I called you every night. We
Mhm.
talked, and then, I said, anytime you're lonely, call me. And we
Mhm.
kept in touch with each other from then on. And then we are now cruise partners
Yes.
or more
Yes.
cruise partners. I'm hoping we can still be cruise partners. It
Yes.
was lovely.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Sarah's very peaceful, and I'm very peaceful, and we travel very well together.
Mhm. Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. So, in a friend, in times of need, we show up for each other. And you did that for me, Mary Lou. You did that for me. And I'm thinking back when you moved in with me in Dallas, you needed sort of a reset. I'm
yes,
thinking you
yes,
needed a reset and you came to a safe place. I mean, we were in our early 20s when
yes,
that happened. And just sort of a reset to say, okay, what do we need to do? And so we can be the reset people for each other. And then you helped me. I mean, you called me every night for more than a year. I don't even know, a long time. And now you see my healing and now see my joy with the new husband God has sent me. And you're coming for a week to help me
yeah,
prepare for the wedding and cut cake.
yeah.
Talk a little bit, Mary Lou. I would love for you to talk about my parents and how that connection. I don't really know if it connects to friendship, but I just, there's not
Right,
many people in the world that really knew my parents and
right,
that are, in my friendship circle now. And so,
yeah. Well, I first met Sarah's parents when it was either at one of the gatherings for the feast,
right?
or it might have been, did they come to California, Sarah? I can't,
Maybe. I don't remember. Hmm.
but Sarah's parents were, to me, I thought they were like God's family. I just
Hmm.
felt that immediately from her mother.
Hmm.
Her mother was very warm and loving and just had a very motherly, um, way about her. I mean, my mother had died when I was 14. So I really, needed that from Sarah's mother. And it was like, you could have thought that I was her daughter.
Hmm.
And her dad was very handsome. And I remember
Cowboy.
yes, cowboy, but just really they just had a great love, Sarah. I just remember seeing that all the time. And
Mhm.
the example that your mom always set to really go out of her way and talk to people. And
Mhm.
do you remember the last time I saw your mother? I went to Houston and she hugged me and she said, I'll never forget these words. She said, Mary Lou, I am so glad I get to see you before I die.
Wow.
Do you remember that? I
Yeah.
don't know if you remember that. And she
Mhm.
goes, I always wanted to, like, see you before, God takes me. And
Wow.
it's so, I just, it was just, you could feel that you were with God's people. That's
Wow.
all how I can explain
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very, very, very loving.
Well, I don't want to go to the negative part, but I think maybe we could talk about just for a minute friendships that failed. Not that we want to be in judgment, but also just an awareness of failed friendships. What happened there? I mean, we're not in failed friendships, here we are, but just just to speak to it for a minute, I think I'm being brave to even ask this question, because we need to be aware of that fox that can come in and steal. So what causes friendships to fail?
In my case, again, I think it's been lack of communication. Sometimes
Hmm.
you feel like you give and you give, and we should continue to give.
Hmm. Hmm.
But sometimes I just get tired and I walk away. Like I
Hmm.
just don't,
Yeah.
because I don't like to impose and I don't
Yes.
to assume.
Hmm.
And if I've reached out, 5 or 6 times and there's no response, I should
Right.
continue.
Yeah.
But then I just kind of feel like, okay, maybe they don't want to
Right.
do. So I,
Hmm.
assume things. So I think sometimes when we assume things that aren't really there,
Hmm.
there becomes this thing that how do you get around it? And
Yeah.
I get again communicating, and
Yeah.
then they tell me, okay, I don't want to talk to you anymore. I shouldn't assume. Maybe they're just
Yeah.
having something they don't want to share, and
Right. Right.
I need to reach out and send my love.
Yeah. Yeah.
So my best friend passed away in December.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, yeah, it was just really sudden, and I want to maintain a friendship with their husband and their family, but I don't want to impose because I have questions, and
Hmm.
I'm Julie, and
Hmm.
I'm a crier.
Hmm.
And so I feel like I am imposing, but I know that I should just continue to just even
Hmm.
say, I love you guys. I'm
Hmm.
thinking about you. And sometimes we step away and maybe we should,
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
no?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for me, I have, this is so apropos, because I have two friends that I always thought were going to be lifelong friends, heart friends that I did a lot with. And unfortunately, my first friend, I was friends with her for 15 years, maybe. And politics got in the way.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
Yeah. And,
Politics and religion can, yeah.
mhm.
So sad. So sad.
And she believed in God. She was, but our political views were so different. And and I could overlook, I mean, I'm pretty much a person that will accept people. I don't care what
Hmm.
your political views
Hmm.
are.
Hmm.
But I don't think she could accept my political
Yeah.
view.
Yeah.
So that's where I think,
Wow.
that relationship failed. And then I did have another friend who I thought was going to be a lifelong friend. And, I'm still trying to figure out what happened. And
Hmm.
I think what I feel is God will bring people into your life when it's time, and he will take away friends from your life when it's
Hmm.
time.
Those are called seasons, right?
Hmm.
Yes.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that's how I can explain it.
Yeah. Well, I think, there's Proverbs 17:17, and this translation says, a dear friend will love you no matter what.
Mhm.
And so sometimes we have, and when we don't, then we stop being friends. So I'm just going to pray right now. God, would you help us be a friend to those that need? And then we get to benefit from friendship as well, no matter what, no matter what, no matter for political, no matter for hurts, that we would be that friend to show your love, God, because we are conduits of your love. We are the living gateways for you to come through to others. So help us have an outward focus to make new friends, God, and not to forget our old friends. I'm so thankful for this conversation today. You are in the center of it, God. You are the gifter of friendship. You are the ones that have knitted hearts together and showed us that we need relationships. We need relationship with you, and we need relationship with each other. We need to find our people, the people that we'll stay up with and talk to all night. You know, this song by Drew Holcomb, I love, Find Your People. And I just thank you, God, that you will help us love no matter what, to forgive easily and to not be hurt, but to have open hands to say, God, help us love like you love. And so, man, y'all, I thank you so much for sharing today. And you might have another little bit of advice here before we end, but this has been so rich. And I just pray for friendships to ripple, new friendships to ripple from this conversation. And for y'all's example of a friendship that's been going 10 months only, 9 or 10 months, but it is for eternity. Like it is, y'all are going to love each other no matter what. Like you've already established that.
Absolutely.
And it's so beautiful. And for Mary Lou and I going on 47 years, you know, I'm so thankful. So anything else y'all want to say, and then we'll end.
All I can do is, and I've told you this, Sarah, is I just thank God. I thank God for the people that He's put in my life. And it's for a purpose and a reason.
Mm-hmm.
I truly believe that. And I'm just so thankful for Sherri and for you.
Yeah.
And, all of my friends that, they say if a person can count, good friends on one hand, you're a very lucky person.
Yeah.
So I just have glad to thank them.
Well, you've made my life so much better, Mary Lou. You've added so much joy and richness to my life for who you are and how you loved me, how you have loved me, and how you love me today, and you'll keep loving me. I know you will.
Oh, absolutely.
Sherri, for you, anything else?
I just reading some things that I jot down all the time. In like self-reflection, at the end of the day, when I lay down and I reflect on my activities of the day, I always want to think that I tried my very best. That's all we can do. And I think if we've done that, we've done well. And here's Hebrews 6:10.
Okay. So God is not unjust. He will not forget your work and the love you have shown Him as you have helped His people and continue to help them.
Wow. Wow.
We're called to do that.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. It is a holy calling to be friends. That's what I hear you say. Thank you. It's a holy calling. It's an assignment from our great Creator. Yeah.
It is. Yep.
Yeah. Wow. Thank you. That is beautiful. That is beautiful. Well, I love y'all. Sherri, I'm going to meet you someday in person and can't wait for that. But in the meantime, just so thankful for y'all's friendship and for each other and how you're just modeling it. And we just keep making the world better.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Well, blessings, y'all. Thank you.